Good morning, South Beach. Welcome to Fifth Street Gym podcast number 4. We are sitting here today. Dino is off training somebody, one of the fighters, and filling in for him is our partner, Sifu Anthony Fontana. And here we have Miss Nina Spencer, otherwise known as Ma Spencer. She's the one responsible for Coach Dino's presence and his vivacious personality. So let me just start off by saying, what's your favorite story of your son Dino growing up? He keeps telling the story when he got beat up and he came home one time.
He got beat up a lot. That's why he's here training people. There's many stories. He got we were going out, so you have an alarm on your car. So my son, I said, don't touch the car. The alarm's going to go off. So naturally, him and his cousin, they touch the car and the alarm goes off. So I'm yelling at them, screaming at them, what'd you do that for? We're outside, I'm yelling. And a kid comes by with his mother, and he's a newspaper boy that passes out the newspapers. And he goes, ha, your ass got kicked. That's it, I lost it. I said, go get that kid, beat the crap out of that kid. So we jumped in the car, the lady's walking with her son, and I jump in the car, we're all got in the car, we drive, and we catch up with them. And the mother's trying to hold her son, and my son is I said, punch him, get him, kick him, and the mother's trying to hold her son away from Dino, and I said, get him. I said, what kind of mother are you? You let your son talk like that and do things like that. What's wrong with you? I should have been beating her up, is what it should have been. But anyway, so that's one of the stories.
That's one of the stories that Dino loves to tell. Now, a lot of people don't know, you got your black belt when you were 67 years old.
No, 60.
60?
Yeah.
Okay, 60 years old. Ma Spencer got her belt. I remember you coming over to the apartment do you remember she used to walk up, the building I used to live in had 44 flights. And she went up 44 flights of steps. She got a black eye. Her son gave her a black, not himself, but during the test. Tell us a little bit about starting training at an age where most people are ready to retire.
I started at 49.
49.
And I worked at the Kung Fu school in Chicago. So in between working, I would take the classes, and that's what happened. And then it took me 11 years, though. It took me a long time, and I finally got a black belt. So.
And then...
As it should. It's great that you're committed to it. A lot of people, at that age, they're like, oh, I can't move right, I can't this. I know I've been here for almost 2 years, and you inspire me more. You move better than everybody else. So age is just like, an understatement when it comes to training. So having you here and having people see you is like a blessing in disguise. I wish my grandmother was like moving this way. So really,
I'm glad I showed up today.
Yeah. So now you two have been working together for about 2 years. Sometimes Dino's gone, so it's either the 3 of us or it's the 2 of you. What's your favorite thing about Sifu Anthony, working with him? What do you like?
Well, because he's very dedicated to what he does, and he's always here, and he teaches so many different things. So when he came, we had a variety of martial arts instead of just boxing. So that was great, and everybody likes him, and he's a good teacher. I
don't know about everybody.
Come on.
Some people like him.
Someday.
I take his classes, and they're hard, and it's great. So glad to have him.
Speaking of taking classes, how many classes you still take classes? You're what, 94 years old right now? How old are you exactly? 89. I lose track.
76.
76 years old, and you take classes pretty much at least 5 days a week.
5 days a week, yeah.
And then tell us about like when you teach and taking classes. What motivates you at, let's just say, the golden years of your life, taking these classes, where most people are either checking out or checking into an old retirement home? You're here every day.
Yeah, I don't want to go to retirement home, so I try to keep myself moving, so that I don't have to do that, and I don't want to have to walk slow and be crippled. So if I keep working out, I stay loose, I stay in good health, and I just feel better. It's great. It's a good feeling.
Keep moving.
Keep moving. Yeah, you got to keep moving.
Like Jack LaLanne,
Yeah.
He's on the Hudson at 90 something.
Yeah.
Did he really?
Yeah, I think it was like 92 or 94 or something like this. Crazy. He had like the juice maker and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's a clear testament. Do not stop. Keep training. Keep moving. Really, age is just a number.
So now that the two of you are a little more into, I mean, Dino and I have that background, of course, but we're more into boxing now. Like with the martial arts background, how does it differ from the boxing to you guys? What do you think is different between the boxers and maybe like an MMA or martial arts?
I'll say it like this. When it comes to the difference between a boxer or a fighter, rather, than a martial artist, you tell a boxer, give me 100 jab crosses, they'll give you 1,000 more. Show a martial artist one technique, they want 1,000 more. Understand? So the commitment level is totally different. Even though I'm a certain type of martial artist, like, I have a boxing background, I started with boxing, so I understood that. Repetition. The thing with the other fighters compared to the martial artists is that they have a specific goal to be champion or to win and stuff like that, where martial artist does it as a recreational, I just want to learn self-defense. The fighter really takes a lonely path, and it's a hard path because they accept the fact that their body's gonna get damaged. You know, they're gonna have great days, they're gonna have days where they're very depressed, but yet they keep coming because that's the only way you get better. Obviously, if they're not getting better, they should rethink their path, but for the most part, there is progress. And I think the fighter then, even the martial arts, this is where the similarity comes in. Because of the training, they discover more about themselves. So, and then hopefully they tend to live a better life. Where they apply what they've learned in the ring or in the gym, and they add that to their work that they do with their families and stuff like that to be better overall.
And so speaking about boxing, you're sort of a boxing expert, you know your boxing. Who is your favorite boxer / fighter of all time?
Rocky Marciano.
That was quick and easy. Why? What is it about Rocky Marciano, aside from the fact that he's Italian, probably?
Yeah, right, that helps. And that he was a undefeated champion and a very powerful person. Like I said, he was no Sugar Ray Robinson, but what he lacked in that, he lacked in strength and power, and a very technical person, worked out hard. That's why I liked him.
Got you. How about you, Sifu? Who's your favorite boxer of all time?
Mike Tyson. I mean, come on, you're talking about the most vicious man in the ring. He really inspired me. My fighting style is based on an inside fighter. One, I wasn't blessed with height, but to knock people out in 8-9 seconds, with that mean liver shot and that uppercut. I mean, the guy intimidated me so much as a kid that even like in his Mike Tyson Punch-Out video game, right? I was nervous fighting him too, and that's how powerful this guy was, or inspirational he was to me. And I still think to this day, pound for pound, he's the greatest, personally.
Really?
Yeah.
And how about people fighting today? Who do you like that's fighting today that you watch, that you like? And today's, the guys that are fighting today.
I like Lomachenko.
Yeah, I'll agree with her. Yeah.
And the reason you guys like Lomachenko?
Because he's
who's got 2 losses, by the way, in 8 fights.
No, it's okay.
That's okay.
That's not nice.
But again,
Just kidding, if I see you,
but
just kidding.
Fighters win, lose. I mean,
Yeah,
it is
they
what it
win and
is.
lose. I like
But
Lomachenko.
what is it about? You like his style, his ring generalship? And
Yes, absolutely, all those things, yes, and he's a tough guy. He's very
Gotcha.
tough, yeah.
Just the way he moves, the zoning, the body pressure that he has. I mean, it's just, it's a beautiful thing. I mean, the fact that he danced for years and you see it.
Yeah,
in the
you could
ring.
see it in the fight.
And granted, people are like understanding his game now, but like for a while, it's like, he was dominating. You put pressure on someone. About him, people are just quick giving up round 6, round 7 because he's breaking the mind. You break the mind, you break the will, you win the fight, basically. So that's pretty genius on his part.
And it's funny you say that because one of the other podcasts we were speaking about confidence and the difference between the top guys and lower level guys or mid-level guys or journeymen is really the confidence that somebody has within himself. But I'd be remiss not to talk about this with 2 Italians. Food.
Oh, wait, speaking of food, right? Sorry.
Speaking of food.
Can I just jump in?
Go ahead.
I know you're asking the questions, but I have something that's been, and I should have asked this years ago, because you are a very good chef, a very good cook. I think so. I know so. I've had your meals. But your son, now, what is it that that you would make that just made him go crazy for?
Go crazy.
Like I have something that my mom would make all the time.
Yeah.
Like if she made it, I wouldn't share it with anyone. And my brothers got mad at me because I ate it all. But is there something growing up, or that something that he holds dear to his heart that that you ever made them?
Well, just pasta with meat sauce.
Exactly,
That's
simple.
it.
So pasta
That's
meat
it.
sauce.
Yeah,
So like a good ragu, like that kind of thing. Right?
ragu, and that's it. And he loves gnocchi, so.
Yeah, mine's
that's-
my mom's pasta and potatoes. Very
Yeah.
simple dish, but I would run home and I'd get there before my brothers, and they'd get mad at me because
You ate
I ate everything. I didn't share it all. So, but food, yes.
Yeah.
Back to sorry, Tom.
Back to food, she answered the question, but you used to have a cannoli company, if I'm not mistaken,
Yes.
in New York.
Yes, I did.
And you've made millions. How many cannolis would you say you've made in your life?
Oh man.
I know this isn't boxing talk, but,
No.
we love
when
food,
When it
that's
comes to
it.
this, the physical cannoli or the actual distribution of the creams and stuff like that.
Yeah, like how many cannolis would you say you've made in your
I would
life?
say I must have fed 20 million.
20 million cannolis you've made.
Wow.
Yeah, but I had a very, very big company. And I mean, I remember there were feasts that I do, and in 10 days I went through 2 tons of cream. And we're talking maybe 40,000 cannoli shells in 10 days.
So did you make the cannoli shells too, or no?
I did, and then I couldn't keep up, so then I had a company that I had to help me because I was like, here, I'm fucking rolling all these little, excuse my language, I'm rolling all these things, I'm putting them in the tin cylinders or the wood cylinders, I'm frying, it took too much time, I couldn't keep up. So then I found the baker that could help me and stuff like that, pump it out all the time. And yeah, that was from 2007 to 2012. We had a good 5-year run.
It's funny, like from cannolis to boxing to martial arts. And
I was
just,
also in the music business too for a while too. There's a lot
No,
of,
that's another
whole
show.
other-
That's a
whole
different
other
show.
thing. But yeah, but food, I think it's an Italian.
And tell him about your restaurant. You're a great restaurant.
And my,
in New
I
York.
grew up. My family has a restaurant in New York City, in Little Italy.
Delicious.
So that's how I
Everything's
grew up making
delicious.
pastries and stuff. It's called Cafe Napoli. And but I think though, you need an outlet, especially with an Italian family. So boxing and martial arts
Absolutely.
definitely help.
So another question I want to ask you guys, going back to boxing, we always go back to food in a minute here because we're winding down. What is your favorite fight of all time? Would it be a
Oh,
Marciano
yeah.
fight, or
No,
would,
no,
it
no.
be somebody else? What's your favorite boxing match, fight of all time?
What's his name?
If you could watch it again.
I'm old, I can't think of names, but the old fighter that fought in his 40s. From way back.
George Foreman,
No,
Sugar Ray
no,
Robinson,
back.
Carmen Basilio.
Light heavyweight. Come on.
Light heavyweight in
Come
his
on.
40s. I can't think.
Ask him and then I'll come back to me.
All right, go ahead.
I don't have
Favorite
I don't
fight
have-
of all time?
I don't have an answer for that. I can't recall.
I'm trying, guys.
I know
I'm
you're
trying.
trying. Because there's been so many where you're on your edge and you're like, come on, and it's like, all right. And you get
I will
disappointed.
let,
I
let
got
you
it.
while
I
you're-
got it.
Okay, which is it?
Off the top of my
Archie
head.
Moore and the Canadian guy, they fought in, I don't know, I can't think of his name. He's
Chicago,
a
maybe?
French-Canadian fighter, and they fought in the, say, like 1960s, somewhere late 50s, and it was a battle. That was the best fight I've ever seen with Archie Moore. Archie Moore was down and out, and he came back and won that fight.
And he later, I think he fought.
I don't know, he fought everybody.
he lost, but I remember he lost to Ali, Archie Moore in 4. So, if you, what I want to say, my favorite fight of all time, I don't say it's the best fight of all time, but my favorite fight of all time is Foreman versus Ali. And the reason I like that fight is, Ali was in his prime, nobody beat him, everyone knows that. He came back, lost to Frazier, got his jaw broken, and it was 7 years later. Everyone had him counted out. He was, I think, 32 years old at the time. Foreman was 24, 26. They thought he was going to get killed in that fight, and he came back after 7 years after having his belt taken away from him. And everyone knows the Rumble in the Jungle, I believe October 24th and 26th. And in that fight, he beat, and the only person that ever stopped George Foreman, who came back to win the heavyweight championship of the world, 46. And there's something about that fight, and if you ever watch the movie Ali, it ends with that scene where he wins the fight. And to me, that's the favorite fight. I've watched that fight with Muhammad at least, got to be 20, 30 times, and he loved it. And that's my favorite fight of all time. So I
Was
wanted
that
to throw
his
that in
favorite
there.
fight too? Was that his favorite
I think he
fight?
liked that one in Ali Frazier 3 Thrill in Manila. So we're going over here. I want to thank everyone for joining us for episode 4. I want to thank Nina Spencer, Mal Spencer, and Sifu Anthony, who's filling in for Coach Dino. And we will see you in the next episode, I believe episode 5, with Christian Thune. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you soon.
I am the greatest.